Hi guys. So I was working on a video the other day for quarries, and in that I mentioned Tesseracts, and I thought it was probably a much better video which would be much more useful to people to show how to get Tesseracts and sort of easier ways to get the resources for them. So if you don't know what a Tesseract is, they are kind of awesome. What they allow you to do is you can send and receive items, fluids, and energy through them, and you can have them on different channels. So what this allows you to do is to have things set up remotely or have things transfer between each other without the need for piping or conduits or sort of any other sort of stuff like that. So it's really quite cool in that way. They are fantastic for quarries, but they're really useful for lots of other things. One of the things is that Tesseracts are quite hard to get hold of. They really are an end game item. And they use some resources that might seem a little bit, well, almost impossible to get hold of at times. Just trying to get hold of lots of these resources so you can build up a very good system is really hard. So a quick look at the recipe. So once you have a Tesseract frame, it is quite easy to actually make it. What you really need is these bronze ingots, which are made from this bronze dust, which is essentially copper and tin. And you also need silver ingots, and you need this Tesseract frame, which is full. Now, to fit up the Tesseract frame, you need to fit it from a fluid transposer with a resonant ender. Resonant ender is made from another machine where you put ender pearls in that, and I'm going to show you how to make that quite easily. But the real stinker when it comes to making these Tesseract frames is Enderium. It is a complete turd to get hold of, or it can feel like a complete turd to get hold of at times. If you have a look at how it's made, there should be a recipe in here. Okay, yep. We need this pyrethium dust, and we need enderidium blend. Now, the pyrethium dust is sulfur, pulverized coal, redstone, and blaze powder. You can get blaze powder, where is it? By using a fluid transposer with glowstone dust. And the other items are fairly easy to get hold of. Redstone, we all know about that. Pulverized coal is fairly self-explanatory. Sulfur. Now, sulfur can be a little bit hard to get hold of. You can get it basically from whenever you pulverize a nether ore, basically any sort of nether item. Also, when you pulverize coal, you will get sulfur, and there is actually a nether sulphur ore that you can use. Now, that's quite useful because the way that you make yourself get the other items for the enderidium is actually going into the nether. Now, the other part of getting these enderidium ingots is this enderidium blend, and that requires resonant ender bucket, some pulverized tin, and pulverized shiny metal. Now, you may find that's something you don't come across very often, or it's something you only see in dungeon chests if you've not really sort of gone that far in to find out how to make it. And the reason for that is it comes from nether platinum ore. But there is also other ways to get it. So we click on this, as you can see, we get the nether platinum ore, or you can turn a shiny ingot. Now, basically, shiny metal, shiny ingot, same thing. The other way is potentially to use this pulverizer, and when you pulverize ferrous ore, you might get a pulverized shiny metal, but there is actually something that is way, way more efficient than that. There is an item that you get from pulverizing redstone ore called cinnabar, and that is incredibly useful for when it comes to getting your shiny ingots, because if we go along here, if you use one cinnabar with a ferrous ore, you have a 100% chance to get a shiny ingot. So this means that you can turn every single ferrous ore you have into shiny ingots. Right, so that's a lot of waffling there. I'm going to explain to you what you need to do. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is go into the nether, because you're going to want to get nether redstone ore. You might think it's kind of hard to get hold of the redstone ore on its own, and if you don't have a silk touch tool, that is quite hard to do in the overworld. But the thing is when you mine redstone ore in the nether, you always get the actual ore. You don't actually get the redstone come out. So if I just do this, we'll jump in here. Okay, so here we are. We are in the creepy ass nether. It always freaks me out being in here. Now if we go and have a look over here, one of the first things you're going to see is there is this nether sulphur ore. which is really useful for when we're actually making our Enderium blend. And if you have a look around, you should find that redstone or nether redstone ore is actually very prevalent. So let's have a quick look around here. I know, sod's law, I'm going to be somewhere where there's no redstone ore. Okay, so I had to go a little bit away from the portal. As you can see, the portal's over there. But here we go, I found some redstone ore, just so you know what it looks like. And you generally get quite sizable deposits of this stuff. So let's break in here and see if we can find any more. Nope. Nope. Okay, well, 3. So that would be 6 redstone ore we would get out of that. If we have a quick look at the recipe, you can also use certain other things to make sure you get more redstone ore out of this. So this here is rich slag. You get that from basically smelting any ore you have into a induction smelter. And by doing that, you would make sure that you sort of get 3 ores for every nether redstone ore that you have. Okay guys, so what I've done, I've just set up a few machines here really quickly just to show you the process that you would go by to make those shiny ingots, and then I'm going to show how to make the actual enderidium afterwards. So I've got an induction smelter here, and what I'm firstly going to do, I don't want to do that, actually I've got some resources here. So I've got 20 iron ore, I'm just going to throw some sand in there. And then once that has cooked up, I should have some of that rich slag. Okay, so I actually got quite lucky there. I got 2 of this rich slag from 20 of those iron ore. There's actually only a 1 in 20 chance of getting it, so I really did get lucky there. So now we've got that, you can sort of show you the process here. So if you put this nether redstone ore here and put this rich slag in here, we should be getting ourselves 3 redstone ore per one. So there we go. We've got 3 there, and we'll just put some sand in just to get the rest of that out. Potentially what you could do if you had a huge amount of redstone ore is do some of that and get your rich slag out of there. So we've got our redstone ore there, 8 of those. So hopefully what we should be getting out of this is at least 2 cinnabar. There's a 25% chance, so let's pulverize that up. Okay, well we've got lucky again because there's 2 cinnabar there. We might actually get a third, which would be awesome. Okay, so we only got 2. That's perfectly fine. Now if we go back to the induction smelter and put our cinnabar there and put our ferrous ore, there we go, that's 1 and 2. Awesome. Right, so 2 shiny ingots. Now what we need to do is pulverize that up, so we'll just turn that into shiny metal dust. So we have got basically 1/2 of what we need now to do the Tesseract. Now the next part of doing the Tesseract is we're going to need ender pearls. I've done a video on this before. Is what you're going to need is a minium stone. These are fairly hard to get hold of. Well, I say fairly hard to get hold of. They're quite resource intensive, but you can actually get them quite early in the game. So let me just quickly grab out a workbench here. There we go to this stuff. Right, so let's put this workbench down. Okay, so we're going to need a bucket first of all. I'll grab a couple of them. We don't need the bucket for the ender pearls, but we will need it in a minute for when we do the fluid transposing. So to make yourself ender pearls, as we used iron earlier, which is kind of cool, is you can get an ender pearl like this by using this recipe with a minium stone. So we'll take out 8 of them. Now we're probably going to need more than that. So let's have a quick check. Okay, so now we need to make the enderidium blend. First thing that we need to do is, so I've got a magma crucible here, which will sort of turn an item into a fluid. So this will, we put our 48 in here. As you can see, we are getting, let's take that out real quick. As you see, we are getting destabilized redstone here. You get 100 destabilized redstone for each redstone dust, whereas you get 250 of the resonant ender from each ender pearl. So here we go. So the next thing, so this is all from the first trip there, potentially. You saw those resources we had around. We got the 3 redstone ore. We're going to need this nether sulphur. We're going to have to pulverize up some coal. But the first thing is we're going to need to get some of this blaze powder. So let's put 20 in there. Okay, so we've got ourselves that blaze powder. Now we need to make ourselves the pyrethium blend. So we will need to pulverize up some coal. Don't need much of this, so we'll just get a couple of those out of there. 2 will do. Let's just go for 3 just to make sure. Right, 3 of those, and we'll just pulverize up 1 of these nether sulphurs. There we go. Right, now time to make the pyrethium blend, which is what you need to be able to actually turn the Enderium blend into Enderium ingots. So there we go, we get 3 out of that. Each time you do this recipe it gives you 6, and you only need 1 of them to make yourself 2 Enderium ingots. Now we need to make the Enderium blend. So what we need to do first of all is to put 1, 2, 3, 4 of those in there. There we go. So we've got 1000 resin ender there. We need to get out that into a bucket. And now we're going to need some tin. I have cheated here. I've just grabbed the tin because obviously you don't want to see any pulverizing tin. You know how that works. So put a tin like this. We put one of our shiny metal like this, and we just put a bucket of there. So we have now got 4 Enderium blends there, and we can now, with an induction smelter, turn that into Enderium ingots. So let's throw that on there. And as you can see, every one go through of this, you use up 2 of the dust and 1 of that promethium dust there. So, okay, so there is almost enough to make a tesseract. The final thing we're going to need is some more of this resonant ender, and we need to make a tesseract frame. To make a tesseract frame, we're going to need some hardened glass, so we can get that by pulverizing obsidian into some pulverized obsidian. Who'd have thunk it? We're going to need quite a bit of that. I think we're going to need another 2 obsidian. So let's grab 2 more of those and put them in there. I'll show you the recipe. So if we put the obsidian in there and 1 lead, that will cook out to 2 hardened glass. So we'll take this out here and put all this in there. And we're also going to need 1 diamond. So let's grab one of them. Okay, now put our tesseract together like this. Need 4 hardened glass there, the 4 Enderium ingots, and a diamond. So there we go. That's our tesseract frame. We now need to fill the tesseract frame in here. I believe we need more resonant ender. So once again, you would need quite a lot of iron for this, but obviously you do get a lot of iron. So let's grab a stack of that. I think I grabbed too many stacks there, but we'll just do this. As you see, 1 stack of iron would make you 16 ender pearls, and probably a good idea not to throw the minium stone on the ground. So let's just throw these in here. Oh, did it do it anyway? It did. Okay. Someone was being a retard. Okay, so you do only need 1000. You only need 1000 resin ender to make yourself a tesseract frame, and then from this point here to make a tesseract frame, all you need is silver. You need 4 silver ingots, which is fairly easy to get hold of, and you need some of that bronze, and for bronze you need tin. Let's grab 10 tin, and you need copper. I believe that I've used, yeah, I need to use the ingots, not the actual dust. Okay, so we put the tin ingot here, copper, and we get ourselves some bronze dust. You can just smelt that up. Or I'm using a redstone furnace here, as you can see. So we grab the 4 out of here, and we are ready to make a tesseract. So put the, that hasn't come out right. Tesseract frame. There we go, tesseract. Woo! So that is how you make a Tesseract. You don't have to worry too much about getting the shiny ingots, as long as you can get some ferrosaur, which you will find deep down. Um, as you saw there, only a couple of ferrosaur gave us all the stuff we needed to make this. It's all about, if you go into the nether and you find some redstone or nether redstone, nether sulphur, and some glowstone, from that point there, as long as you've got the machines in place to do it, you can make yourself Tesseract, which will make your life so much easier. Anyway, guys, I hope it's been useful. I hope you have fun with this and you use it and it's helped you in any sort of way. Catch you guys soon.